Good afternoon. I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Thursday, July 14th. Well, 49 years ago, the state of Arkansas refused to heed the orders of a federal court, and we all know what happened. The federal troops rolled in. I don't think we're worried about federal troops just yet, but today the State Board of Education ignored a federal court order pertaining to the Jacksonville School District and allowed a school transfer from Jacksonville to Cabot on behalf of a parent that would rather go to school in Cabot. They're also on the verge, perhaps, of approving a similar sort of transfer from El Dorado to Parker's Chapel, despite a federal court order that pertains to segregation issues in that city. The more things change, the more years pass, the more things stay the same in Arkansas, I'm afraid. Elsewhere, the trial of Ted Suhl for sending bribes to state officials to help his mental health care business continues in federal court today. Jury's hearing wiretaps of Suhl and others talking about doing deals that would help his business as a mental health provider in both residential and community services. Some good news today. Sue Burnett, a graduate of the University of Arkansas in 1968, gave $1 million to expand the facilities of the journalism school, primarily to contribute to some TV facilities. You know, newspapers aren't so important as they once were. I know that she's not in the journalism business. She's in a personnel staffing business that's been very successful in Texas. The Walton Family Foundation gave $2 million away today to contribute to economic education in Arkansas. The idea eventually is to train enough teachers to teach students at all ages about financial competency. Not a bad thing. Up in Jonesboro today, the mayor, Harold Perrin, said he'd suspended the city's Parks and Recreation director for 2 weeks because of a racist remark he made on his Twitter account about the protesters in the Black Lives Matter protests in West Memphis. Good news for some people from Utah. A federal circuit court of appeals has held that the Utah law that attempts to stop Medicaid funding for Planned Parenthood, not for abortion, but for routine and important medical services for poor women, is unconstitutional. It's an infringement of free speech. It's punishing them for Planned Parenthood for providing a legal service. We have a similar law in Arkansas. A federal court here is also held in abeyance. That case does continue, though, but the outlook looks good for that law to be struck down. Little Rock police are looking for 3 men who drove into a Sonic drive-in on Chenal Parkway in West Little Rock last night, made an order, refused to pay for it, tried to rob the car hop, and then shot her 3 times. 20-year-old Olivia Stanage is in critical condition in the Little Rock Hospital today. Police are looking for a Cadillac DeVille to try and find the people who shot her. Donald Trump says that Mike Pence is going to be his vice presidential choice. We know from past experience that just because Donald Trump says something doesn't mean that it necessarily will hold true for all time. But that's the word that's coming out today. I think that'll meet with approval from the highly conservative delegation Arkansas sending to the Indianapolis National Convention. We do know that Asa Hutchinson, Tom Cotton, Mike Huckabee, and Leslie Rutledge are going to be on the speaker's platform. I guess they're not worried about ruining their reputation too much by associating with Donald Trump, but they better look out. Cleveland, did I say Indianapolis? The convention's in Cleveland. I do get confused. Cleveland has just passed an ordinance that says you can't discriminate against transgender people in public restrooms, so our delegation to Cleveland better watch out. You just don't know who you might encounter in those restrooms. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.